Welcome to the Blues Trail Revisited podcast. It's episode 5, and I'm Ted Reed. This podcast is sponsored by the Clarksdale Tourism Commission, also fondly known as Visit Clarksdale. This podcast is an offshoot of a film I finished this year about my return to the Mississippi Delta to rediscover the places I first encountered 50 years ago. To see the film, just go to www.bluestrailrevisited.com. If you caught any of our previous episodes, you know we're a big fan of the Juke Joint Festival in Clarksdale, back live after a pandemic-forced year off. This year, music lovers showed up in force, hungry for a taste of live music and a chance to see and hear some returning favorite performers from festivals past. One returning star was Galia Volt. Originally from Belgium, she learned her performance chops as a street musician there and made the trip to the American South a few years ago. When she performed at the last Juke Joint Festival, she was traveling with a backup band. But when COVID closed down music venues, Galia returned to her street musician roots and reinvented herself as a one-woman band. And that's the title of her latest album. We caught up with her for a brief discussion of what she'd been up to. I'm talking with Gahlia Volt in Clarksdale, Mississippi, at the end of the Juke Joint Festival. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here today.
How has Juke Joint Festival 2021 been for you?
Well, I think everybody was dying for being here today, and there's a lot of people, and it turned out great. I think it's a big success.
How many shows have you done?
I played 7 shows so far in 5 days, and there's one more to come. So I'll be playing my last show, the 8th show, in a couple hours.
Tell me, what are you doing different musically than what you were doing the last time you were here?
Okay, so I've usually come the last years with a band, and with the pandemic and everything going on, I started a one-woman band about a year ago, and so I just released my new record called One Woman Band, and I've been touring for the last 2 months, pretty much everywhere north, Idaho, Utah, Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee, and finally here in Mississippi. It feels like being back home, and I just played all over from Jackson to Cleveland, Marigold, and here in Clarksdale, like the 7 last shows in the last 5 days.
Well, Terry Harmonica Bean says a true bluesman plays alone.
Yeah, you know what? Like, you got to be able to do everything, and that's the way I see it, because that's what we do, music. So I don't want to depend on anybody, and so that's. But I miss playing with a band.
What's been the vibe here at the festival?
It's to me the best blues festival that I know about. Some people do those blues cruise. They pay $1,000 to go to a blues festival, and here the stage is the sidewalk, and that's just we're playing blues. We're not playing fancy, whatever. And so to me, this is an authentic, very authentic festival, and soulful, and and there's a lot of interaction between the musicians themselves together, and then with the audience, and everybody's like a big family.
Can you describe your relationship with the folks that have come here?
It's just a family. It's a crew. It's a big family.
How many years have you come here?
Since 2014, so 7, yeah.
Okay. What originally brought you to Clarksdale?
Juke Joint Fest.
As a visitor or a musician?
As a visitor, but of course I wanted to perform, and I did. I just sat in with artists, Sean Apple actually, and then after that, I got my own gigs ever since.
Well, Galia, all the best with the new album,
yeah.
And thanks for joining us on the Blues Trail Revisited podcast.
That's it.
Baby, it's a love just one more time.
y'all so much.
There are several places in Clarksdale to get a good cup of coffee, and one place the locals gravitate to is Meraki Roasting Company on Sunflower Avenue on the corner of 3rd Street. Meraki is unique in that it hires Clarksdale's young people to roast coffee, brew coffee, and get a real feel retail experience. I talked with program director Ben Lewis about how all this came about. I'm talking with Ben Lewis. He's the manager and founder of Meraki Roasting Company in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and some of the best coffee you've ever had. Ben,
definitely.
Welcome to the
unbiasedly.
Yes, welcome to the Blues Trail Revisited podcast. I wanted to ask you, how did Meraki came to be?
Yeah. So Meraki was actually an idea born out of the greater nonprofit. So Meraki is a program under a nonprofit called Gahlia Arts. Mm-hmm. Gahlia Arts was founded back in 2011 by a local woman here in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and she founded it as a way to give opportunities to youth in Clarksdale. It was traditionally focused around the arts in general, your performance arts, your visual arts. But one of the pillars or cornerstones that we have at Gahlia is what we call community. We have our 3 C's: community, creativity, and compassion. And we did an activity at Gahlia called town hall meetings, where the students would get together and talk about community, talk about their community. A very student-driven conversation. So what are their hopes, dreams, challenges? What do they think of when they think of community? So back in 2014, 2 themes kept coming out of these conversations over and over, and one of them was we have no place to hang out. A very rural problem for a lot of youth is just where do you go outside of your home? Right. And then the second one kind of surprised us a little bit, but very succinctly, the second issue that kept arising was these young adults were saying, we want to provide for ourselves, we want to provide for our families, but we're struggling on how to do this. Right. So in diving into that conversation, we found, I guess, again, 2 different themes arose out of these conversations. The first one was the youth were saying, you go to apply for a job, boss says, do you have any experience? They say no. Well, I can't hire you because you don't have experience. Well, how do I get experience if you won't hire me? That catch-22 I think all of us have faced at some point in our life. That's right. And then the second one was just what we would say is a lack of understanding around soft skills, these essential skills that one needs to be successful no matter what you're doing or where you do it. Right. So through these conversations with the youth, the idea of Meraki Roasting Company was born, kind of to serve both purposes. We are a space where you can come hang out. A lot of youth come, use the internet, hang out. It's a safe place. Don't have to buy anything. Just, be a traditional gathering space for the community. And then the second one was we use our cafe as a practical learning environment to work with these young adults on job skills, primarily focusing on the soft skills that they'll need no matter what they choose to do next. Right. So we really believe that Meraki is an environment, like what we want to do is provide opportunities and exposures for what they can do, what they want to do, and help them, connect them with resources that they need to really continue on their journeys.
That sounds like a great training ground. It would be very valuable, I think, in any community. How many kids do you have working there?
Right now we have 8 fellows. It's a 16-week cohort, so we kind of consider it a fellowship. And so we have 8 working with us right now. It's a rather large cohort for us. We normally try and stick to between 5 and 6. Right. Helps us be individualized, really focus on each individual young adult that comes through our program. What are their strengths? What are their hurdles that they've been facing? How can we best help them? But this time we just had 2 more students who came, told me what they wanted to do, and I couldn't say no.
That's terrific. Wow. What can I get at Meraki? What kind of coffee do you serve?
You could equate us to, I guess, a traditional third wave coffee shop, but not quite the same snobbery that you would find. I love third wave. I am a coffee snob, so I don't say that in a derogatory term. But so our students actually roast here in-house. We produce all our own coffee, and we source from all over. So we have anywhere between our Sunflower Soul, which is an Ethiopian Yirgacheffe, to I guess Muddy Water is our Sumatran.
Right.
But one of the big partnerships that what I'm really excited about is we just started a new partnership with Big River Bagels, 2 local women here who started a bagel company, who are making bagels out of our back kitchen, and they do sandwiches on the weekends, and they are phenomenal. And so that actually has become another opportunity for the youth that come through our program, is they not only get exposure to the traditional barista role of what it is to make coffee, but are also into the baking side of things and kind of get into a little bit of culinary arts. But in the end, it's really not about training up more baristas. It's really about providing these youth with opportunities and experiences that help kind of lay the foundation for them to get launched in a trajectory that they're excited and passionate about.
That's really terrific. To get that kind of retail experience in a sort of encouraging environment, I think is got to be really valuable. No question about it.
Yeah. We got a grant just recently that we have now added after they finish the cohort. They qualify for an internship. So we actually pay them to work in a business of their choice. So, for example, we have one of our fellows right now who's about to graduate our cohort who wants to be a cardiologist. And so we have connected him up with a heart surgeon, and he's going to be able to intern and get paid to work with him.
Fabulous.
And so it really provides them an opportunity to, they have these dreams but never had an option to see if they really enjoy it. So with this new internship, it allows them to now kind of experience it and say, is this really what I want to do? And so that's been fantastic to be able to offer now.
Wow. So do you roast your own coffee there?
We do. We roast it in-house. We are a micro roaster by every definition of the word.
That's why the place smells so good,
Yeah, I love it, especially on a cold day when it's roasting and that starts wafting down the street. Oh, it's unbelievable. Okay. We'll have a lot of baked goods from different local community members, but then we also have a lot of handmade goods, artisan stuff, pottery, clothing, etc.
Okay, so Meraki is much more than a coffee shop.
Yes, I would say so. Yes, it tends to focus on the coffee because that's what people come for, but it's really about community more than anything.
Oh wow, Ben, you got a great thing going there, and hats off for you for seeing an opportunity to be able to lift some folks up. I think that's really great.
Yeah, thank you. Well, that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
But it's definitely people like you bringing more people to Clarksdale and giving us exposure. It's a village. So love what you're doing and appreciate the support.
Oh, listen. Keep up the great work. All right, Ben Lewis, manager of Meraki Roasting Company. If you want some coffee, bagel, or anything else that you can imagine, it's probably there.
Also subscribe through MerakiRoasting.com. Anywhere in the country we'll ship.
Really? All right. Well,
yes.
I'll check that out today. Okay. Ben, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend there, and more power to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's good talking with you.
Great. When it comes to deep roots, it's always great to see some blues veterans. These folks have paid their dues working and perfecting their acts. A 50-year veteran who is a living example of that is songwriter, music producer, and recording star Johnny Rawls. He appears on 2 Blues Trail markers. There's one been nominated for many awards over the years, including Soul Blues Artist and Soul Blues Album of the Year, and is credited with inventing the very name Soul Blues. Okay, I'm talking with Johnny Rawls, Juke Joint Festival in Clarksdale. And, man, you've got quite a resume. You know, the number of blues music awards alone that you've got is just pretty impressive. How long have you been performing?
I say 50, but it's been 53 years now.
Excellent.
And I still feel good and look good.
All right. Tell me, where did the description soul blues come from?
From me.
You invented it.
It actually came, seriously, it actually came from me.
Okay.
Because when I first came into this field here with the international blues, they didn't know how to label me. They kept saying, Johnny Rawls, he ain't blues, he's not blues. I said, no, I'm not blues. But my music has a good rhythm beat to it, and it come from gospel and soul music from O.V. Wright and James Carr and Otis Clay and people that I worked with throughout the years. So I put one foot in the past and one foot in the future.
Right.
And so when I looked around, they had a category about 25 years ago, they named it Soul Blues, and I looked around and with me, Lil Milton, and Solomon Burke were the first one in that category that they made.
Wow. Wow. And
And I was the one. I'm thinking that I'm the one that caused it because they didn't know how to label me.
Right. And you just keep winning in that category. That's great.
Well, I won a few times. I'm just happy to be in the category,
Oh yeah, definitely. So where did you?
But I should have won them all, though.
Okay. Very true. Very true. So how did you start? I mean, where did you pick up? Where did you decide you were going to be a musician?
Well, ever since the day I was born, man, I was a little kid in Mississippi, which I just recently moved back a year ago to home I was born and raised in and remodeled it. But we would just take buckets to the woods, and growing up in Mississippi, it was music all around us. And walking down the street, there were gospel groups, blues bands, guys sitting on the corners playing, and all the artists were coming to the Hi-Hat Club in Hattiesburg, which I have a trail mark out there now that I'm very proud of.
Excellent.
With two of my legend friends, Tyrone Davis and Little Milton, And it was just in me, man, just born in me.
So how many of these juke joint festivals have you done?
I don't know, man. I just started doing them, man, and I'm part of Mississippi, and ever since they've been doing them, I've been knowing Rogers when he first moved here.
Yeah.
And so I'm just invited every year. I just look forward to it every year.
Excellent. So how are the crowds this year? You finding people who are...
Man, it's off the chain, man. People are so starving, man.
Yeah.
The place is packed. The place is pandemonium, man. It's packed.
That's fabulous. That's great to hear. You got any music? You got some new music coming out soon, or what?
Man, I keep new music, man.
Yeah.
I'm nominated for the Soul Blues Album of the Year this year for the song called "Where Have the Soul Men Gone."
Okay.
Am I the only one left to carry on? It's nominated for the Best Soul Blues Album, and I'm nominated for the Best Soul Blues Artist, which I should have won.
Well,
I just be kidding, man.
No. I'm sure you'll get it this year.
No, it does. That don't really matter to me, man. I just be glad to be around my blues friends. You know what I mean?
Right. So, what did you do during the pandemic here to get, sort of get by? I mean, it's been tough for all the musicians.
I starved to death.
Oh.
No, I started playing live from my porch, man, down in Mississippi.
Excellent.
And it caught on, man.
Well.
It caught on, and I was able to reach all my fans all over in Europe and all over the United States just from my front porch in Mississippi.
Wow.
Going live on Facebook, and my fans, they were so good to me. They would send me checks, man, and you know what I mean? It was just
that's
a blessing.
Great. Do you do your own writing?
Yes, I do my own writing. I got over 300 or 400 songs. I done produced over 25 or 30 albums on other people, as well as 15 on myself, and I write all my songs and everything. There go a beautiful lady passing by here. Hello there. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
So did you write a lot of stuff during the pandemic? I mean, being stuck at home and stuff, what else are you going to do? Right?
Yeah. Thanks to my good friends, I made it, man. They looked out for me, man.
Yeah.
I swear. And then I want to thank the Blues Foundation, too, man. They were so helpful in helping the blues artists and stuff, very helpful.
Yeah, their programs are terrific.
They paid out For a few months, they paid our car insurance, our car notes, our rent, our light bill, gas. I mean, it was amazing, man. How blues people are really close people, man. We got a close-knit thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's a community. Are you going to hit the road soon? Are you going to go touring, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm booked all the way up, man, through the whole year, through the whole summer, festivals and everything.
Okay. Well,
all over the country, from California to Rockland, Maine. Yeah, they hollering at me, man. They hollering at me. They ready for me.
we'll not keep you from them any longer. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Hey, man, now, thank you for having me on your podcast, man. I hope it be very successful.
Well, thank you.
It should be.
Well, now that you're on
Thank
it,
you.
yes, I think it's going to be successful.
Right, now that I'm on it, you should win, man. You should win, man.
Exactly. All right, Johnny, thank you very much.
All right, buddy.
Have a great show.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, thank you. And that wraps up this episode. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the Blues Trail Revisited podcast in partnership with Visit Clarksdale. You can watch the film that inspired this podcast by going to www.bluestrailrevisited.com. And you can find out a lot more about Clarksdale, Mississippi by going to visitclarksdale.com or download the app and check out all the cool interactive features. In upcoming episodes, we'll be hitting the blues trail and talking with returning blues tourists, listening to old and new blues artists and venue owners, along with many other ways to celebrate the blues trail. You can catch some of Clarksdale's outstanding musical talent by watching almost daily live video feeds on Live from Clarksdale's Facebook page, now going into their second year of operation. I'm Ted Reed, and to all you blues music fans out there, keep on bluesing. The Blues Trail Revisited podcast is produced by Ted Reed Productions. The field audio producer is Nolan Dean, and our project manager is Jamie Nice. Thanks for listening.